Now, when you talk about America's greatest bank robbers, some names automatically come to mind. You got John Dillinger, a man who had 24 banks under his belt and became a folk hero during the Great Depression. Then there's Jesse James, the wild outlaw who robbed 6 banks and 2 trains with his gang. And of course, Bonnie and Clyde, the ride-or-die couple who turned crime into a love story, knocking off 17 banks before going down in a hail of bullets. But there's one name that rarely gets mentioned, and honestly, it's one of the most unbelievable stories in American criminal history. A man who didn't just rob banks, he studied them, planned them, and executed them like military operations. From Southside Jamaica, Queens, the same streets that birthed hustlers and legends, comes Charlie Chaz Williams. And here's the wild part. This man didn't hit 10, 20, or even 30 banks. He hit 63. Yeah, 63. Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. Early life and first escape. Chaz grew up in the tough streets of Queens, New York, a place where survival and smarts went hand in hand. Like a lot of young men caught in that era, temptation hit early. He got arrested and charged with robbery as a teenager, ending up in a youth prison upstate. But here's the thing, Chaz wasn't a follower. Even behind bars, he studied people. He watched how the system worked. And deep down, he already knew prison wasn't his home. So one day, he made a move. He escaped. He ran as far as he could and landed in Cleveland, looking for protection and somewhere to lay low. That's where he crossed paths with a group of black nationalist people who weren't about talk. They were about action. Living among them, Chaz learned things that most men behind bars would never understand. He studied Pan-Africanism, learned discipline, and read books like The Art of War by Sun Tzu, not just to read, but to apply. He learned strategy, patience, and how to see 10 steps ahead. He also picked up combat tactics from Vietnam vets who'd seen real war. These lessons would become the foundation for how he later moved in the streets. But chaos followed. He got caught in a 4-hour shootout with the Cleveland police, a war zone-style standoff where 15 people were hit and 3 officers were killed. Chaz barely made it out. He fled to Quebec, Canada, but made one small mistake. When he tried to convert cash at a mall, he didn't realize all the signs were in French. The clerks had his wanted poster description. They called the police, and that's how he got caught. After doing a little time in Canada, he was deported right back to New York, sent again to a youth prison. But if there's one thing we've learned about Chaz, it's that walls couldn't hold him. Soon after arriving, he jumped off the transport bus and outran the guards. Once again, he was free. The first bank job. Back on the streets, Chaz wasn't just running, he was thinking. He needed money, but he wanted to do it smart. No small hustles, no corner games. He gathered a few sharp guys and built a crew. They didn't just walk into a bank, they studied its layout, exits, timing, and response. Chaz wasn't the type to hand a teller a note saying, "Give me the money." He preferred precision. He wanted to be in, out, and invisible. He once said, "Every time we hit a bank, it was a matter of life, liberty, or death." The first time they did it, the plan worked like a movie script. They walked out calm, clean, and rich. And from that moment on, he was addicted to the rush, locked up, but plotting bigger moves. Eventually, his luck ran out. He got arrested for robbery and conspiracy, and the judge handed him 15 years in prison. Most people would take that as a sign to stop. But Chaz, he saw it as a classroom. While serving time, he learned about a federal pilot program that rewarded model inmates with day passes to attend college classes. He and a few other smart inmates cleaned up their behavior. Straight A's, perfect conduct, no fights, no trouble. They made it into the program, which allowed unsupervised full-day passes to attend college at local universities, including the University of Michigan now. Here's where things get legendary. While most inmates would have used those passes to chase women or hang out, Chaz saw an opportunity. He and his crew started robbing banks between classes. Think about that. They'd walk into class in the morning, then hit a bank in the afternoon, and return to prison at night like nothing happened. It was genius. If police pulled up footage or suspects, how could a man in prison commit a crime outside? They had the perfect alibi. They even used the money to buy apartments, stash weapons, and build a whole operation, all while officially being inmates. But like most big secrets, it didn't stay hidden forever. A prison bus driver found out and tried to snitch. He was set to testify, but backed out at the last minute. Charges dropped. Chaz finished his bid, earned 2 college degrees, and when he came home, he went right back to the game. But this time, sharper than ever, the rules of the game. Once out, Chaz built a crew that moved like a special forces unit. They drilled their robberies like soldiers trained for combat. They studied police reaction times, practiced gun control, and rehearsed how to move inside a bank. From the first step through the door to the last second before the getaway, they rented warehouse space, furnished it like a bank, and ran time drills testing how fast they could jump counters, empty drawers, and exit clean. He enforced a strict code of rules. 3-man team. Only the floor man, the counter man, and the vault man. Everyone had a role. No freelancing. The getaway car must be stolen. Once you get in, there's no turning back. Assume the alarm is already triggered. That means in and out in 60 seconds flat. Know the layout. Study the bank. Identify the manager and head teller. Only hit the bottom drawers. That's where the real cash sits. Top drawers. That's where the die packs are vault man rule. Always grab the armored car bags. That's the serious money. Their weapons were simple but effective. A sawed-off shotgun, a 12 gauge, and an M16. The floor man had to carry the firepower. First one in, last one out. They moved with precision, discipline, and silence. At one point, they could rob a bank almost on demand. Whenever they needed money, they simply planned one out. They weren't just robbers, they were professionals. The slip up, but every legend hits a wall. One bad move, one broken rule. This time, Chaz went against his own code. He agreed to hit a supermarket instead of a bank after hearing there was $80,000 inside. The problem was, the insider forgot to mention there was an armed guard on duty. Shots were fired. The guard got hit. And when they fled, one of Chaz's men didn't take off his mask all the way. A small mistake that blew everything up. Police chased them through the streets, bullets flying. A full shootout erupted, and eventually the crew surrendered. Chaz was hit with armed robbery, assault, and attempted murder, the sentence to 25 years. But remember who we're talking about. After just 16 days, he escaped again, making the FBI's most wanted list. When they finally caught up to him, another shootout followed. He was captured alive but sentenced to 95 years. Even then, he stayed focused. After years behind bars, earning 2 degrees, showing good behavior, and proving rehabilitation, Chaz was eventually paroled and released. From robbing his first bank at 16 to escaping prisons, outsmarting the system, and turning the start of crime into a science, Charlie Chaz Williams remains one of the most overlooked figures in American criminal history. He wasn't just a robber, he was a strategist, a man who studied human nature and mastered the psychology of pressure. Whether you see him as a criminal or a criminal genius, one thing's for sure, he played the game at a level few could even understand. His life sounds like something straight out of a Hollywood script, except it was all real. Thanks for rocking with the channel. If you made it this far, you know this story was different. Drop your city in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more real stories that they never told you in school. Because legends like Chaz Williams, they don't come around twice. Let's go, Underworld Icons family.